I'm Melissa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back to the Endgame Podcast. And Tuesday. And October. And
It is
post your
October.
birthday. For everyone
Yeah,
that didn't know, it was my dad's birthday this past weekend. You were very lucky to get a Saturday birthday as
I
well.
know. I know. That was nice. That was really nice. I
I
appreciate a
noticed.
Saturday birthday. That way I don't have to take a day off, you know.
Mine's Friday this year, which I actually love because,
Also
but
nice. Yeah.
yours is even better because at least you get to, you don't have to wake up and work right away.
Right.
You don't have to worry about taking it off and
Right.
sleep in. That really is ideal. But
Yep. It was good, but now it's gone. So I
hey,
was looking at my vacation time situation for the rest of the year though. And yeah, I got a lot of vacation time left to use up. So gotta
in a
plan it
very
out.
short amount of time to use it.
I know, I know. I got to figure out. Like last year, I did. I did this thing where I took like every Friday off. Oh gosh, every
Oh, that's a good
Friday off.
idea.
Yeah, so it was like nice short weeks
They
in
would approve
December.
something like that? I feel
Hmm.
like certain companies would, and certain companies would be like,
No, the company I work for is pretty good about that kind of stuff. Unless there's like something going on, that it's not possible. But otherwise, they're pretty good about that.
you also had a lot more vacations last year that took up
I
your
did. I
vacation
used
times.
more vacation time last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year we didn't really do anything.
Well,
But
guys,
next year, look out.
no, yeah, world traveler.
Yeah.
Me too. We're gonna next year we will film each episode in a different state.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to plan for that.
Yeah. Anyways, y'all, today we're talking about something that kind of interests both of us. I don't know if it interests you as much as it does me, but I love true crime. For anyone that doesn't know me, um, I love watching true crime documentaries. I mentioned it on the episode the other day.
Hmm.
I don't really like scary movies at all, but I love a true crime documentary, or I always watch the YouTubers talking about different cases and stuff like that. So this episode really interests me,
Yeah. So,
and that's what we're
and I
talking
have,
about.
yeah, I have a different take on it because I actually would like to start doing like a podcast and look into a specific crime that happened a long time ago. Um, so, and I'll talk about that a little bit as we get into it here.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
um, okay. So I have a story. So okay. Well, I always like hearing about different true crime things going on, and there's so many situations. I guess like as somebody that does watch so many documentaries, it's very interesting to me when it's like a case or whatever that is close to us. Like even when I'm watching one of the YouTubers talk about something true crime that happened and it's in Orlando or whatever, I'm like, "Oh, what? That's so close to
Yeah.
home."
Yeah.
So, yeah, a few years ago, I'll just get right into it, I guess, on my side, and then you can go with your story, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so a few years ago, I lived at a house, and I found out that at first, when I first moved there, I just knew a few things about it, like that back in the 90s, there was basically a watered down version of what happened there. Back in the 90s, this guy lived there, and his parents also lived there. And all I knew at that point was that he literally, I don't know, some kid lived here who murdered his parents.
Okay.
And
Wow.
once I moved in, there was a man who lived kind of across the street and down a couple houses who had lived in that house that he lived in way back in the day with his parents. And, or yeah, with his parents. So he basically lived there around the same time that that happened. And he had told us, he had walked up and was like, "Hey, do you know what happened in this house?" I was like, "Yeah, a little bit, you know. I know somebody got killed here, like that's it." And he pretty much said, "Okay, well, a little bit more than that, yeah, but I knew that guy and I had come home from school one day and there was a bunch of cop cars outside of the house. So then I went across the street and was kind of asking questions about what happened. Found out that this guy, whose parents lived in the house that I lived in, he didn't actually live there. Actually, he was a little older, and he did drugs, and he was, you know, kind of in and out of living at home. And one time he had asked his parents for money for drugs. They told him no, and
Which
he pretty
which
much
all parents should do when your child asks for money for drugs.
right. Serious,
Go
mom?
ahead. Sorry, I just had to inject that in
Yeah.
there.
So he got mad, and he pretty much went. I think he ended up still. When this happened, I'm pretty sure he was on something. Um, and he was on like a 2-day bender for
Yeah.
it. Went to their house, and what was crazy about when the neighbor was telling this story is that he at this part he was like, yeah, he went inside and there were house phones at that time. There was a house phone in the kitchen and there was a house phone in the back room. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy because there is an actual like house phone, you know, the thing on the wall that they had back in the day where like you would
Yeah,
plug
like
it
where you
in.
plug it in. Yep.
There was one of those in the kitchen and in the back room,
Oh
still on the
wow.
wall. I'm like, wow, like he's not lying. This is clearly not like I thought he was
Wow.
lying, but like, wow, this is really the story. And he said, yeah, he went into their house and he had called back in the day for y'all that don't know, if you call your house phone on your house phone, it'll just ring to the other phones in the house. And that's basically what he did. He called their house on the kitchen house phone so that it rang on the back bedroom phone, which I guess was their office. The dad went to the back room to answer the phone, and that's when his son like killed him in that room. He stabbed him. And then the mom, I think she had just came home around that time, like a little bit after, and the son basically was like chasing her around the house and ended up killing her the same way by the front door. And I guess there was like fingernail marks in the front door, and a neighbor, the way that, and then he left. A neighbor was walking by in the morning and saw the door cracked and like opened it and saw her laying there, which is
Oh,
so crazy. I can't imagine ever finding anybody like that.
right.
Um, and then he had the news article that I had found online. It said that he was like running around Altamont Springs, which you know, again, it's just crazy that you hear these towns and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
I know that city. He was running around, stopped inside a dentist office on a familiar road, and basically was like, "Hey, I killed my parents. Call
Oh
911." And then they were like chasing him around a cop car. It was a whole, you know.
wow. Why? It's so weird that you would like go there, tell them to call 911, and then you'd run.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, they were like chasing him
so.
around the cop car and stuff. But obviously eventually got him. I don't think he got life though, because I think the news article that I saw, it said he only got like 40 years or something. Like I think he's out of jail now.
Wow, that's insane.
But
That's insane.
and his sister is still alive as well. Um like I guess he had a sister, at least a sister as well. And yeah, but so the weird thing about that, all that to say, um, besides the fact that it's just like crazy living, I guess, in a house that you can like picture, like it has the same layout that it had back then and
Sure. Yeah.
things like that. It's just really crazy to be in a house then like that and just I don't want to
Notice
say
something.
imagine
Yeah.
what happened, but you're able to kind of like
Yeah.
vision something like that happening. It's not
Yeah.
like a
Especially
house.
especially if
What?
you have the details like that where they're telling you, this happened in this room, and then that's
Yeah.
that would be disturbing. Nightmares? Did you have many nightmares?
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't have any nightmares. I didn't feel like, I mean, I guess in any house I feel kind of like EBGBs when I'm in the dark, the pitch black, and I'm like walking in the house when it's dark outside, but I never
Yeah.
felt like, people say that they'll hear like if somebody got killed somewhere, they'll hear
Yeah.
voices, they'll see things.
Yeah.
Maybe
I,
I'm
I've
just not
ex-
enough of a, you know,
I've
I don't know.
experienced stuff like that. I don't want to get into that stuff yet. Maybe a little later we'll talk about
Yeah.
that. But I've experienced something like that.
Mhm.
Very creepy.
Yeah. But,
So,
you know,
well,
I think yeah, still pretty
and
cool.
the other local one that I always think of is the Casey Anthony case, because I don't know if you remember,
Oh
but
yeah.
when that was going on, um, your mom and I had been doing. There was that person that we were renting a house from at the time, and we kind of did. Like we did, like, your mom did cleaning for her at some of the properties
Oh
she owned.
yeah.
I would
That's
do
right.
like handyman type stuff at some of the properties she owned. And there was
Yeah.
like a apartment or condo that she owned that was in that area, and it was after they had found the body in that.
Mhm.
But the road that we were on went right past the area where that was. And I remember driving past there, and there, it was, people had laid out teddy bears and flowers and all that in that area.
Yeah.
And it was so strange to go past there and think, wow, that poor, think it's the same thing of like what happened there and how horrible that is. Yeah, that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is, yeah, when it's near you, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Even watching the news sometimes you hear
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
different things about, you know, there was that thing in Altamont where the one near us, like literally right down the street, pretty much,
Yeah.
um, where like this boy, killed his girlfriend in the apartment and like left her in the bathtub and like I then calls the police like, "Hey, I'm here. I just killed my girlfriend. You can come get me." I just feel like that's so strange. Like that's what just blows my mind. I think about all of it is just the mental. There's obviously like a mental, like
Yeah,
just
something breaks.
yeah, to
Something
be able
definitely
to just
breaks in
do
people.
that
Yeah.
in general. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was this one case that I was listening to the other day, and it was a pretty popular one like a few years ago. And it was like the girlfriend, it was in Pennsylvania. And this girl and her fiance, um, they lived together and she had come home from school. She was a teacher, so they had gotten out early because it was a big snowstorm that was happening in Pennsylvania. So they let everyone go home early. She gets home and her boyfriend was home at the time and then left apparently to go to the gym. 20 minutes later, 40 minutes later, however long it was, he comes back to their apartment and the like deadbolt thing is locked. Not the deadbolt, but like that latch thing that's usually on doors.
Oh, the
Like it's
little
on
chain
hotel
thing,
rooms a
like,
lot.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
that, but it's like more of the latchy one.
Yeah.
Um, it's like that. And she had when he broke down the door because she wasn't coming to the door, he broke in and she was sitting there and she had like a knife in her chest. And they ended up not investigating it at all. They just said it was a suicide. And but the thing was that she literally had 20 stab wounds in her, like some of them in her head and behind her neck and all that stuff. They're
That
like, well, how
sounds
did you?
suspicious.
Yeah, they're like, well, based off of that, even like
Yeah,
nobody's gonna do that to themselves that many times in those
right.
places and even have the strength to like go
Yeah,
19 more times.
yeah, stabbing yourself too is not like, I mean, I guess you can do it, but it's not exactly easy. I mean, not that I've ever tried. I've never tried,
But they
but it
also
doesn't seem
said,
like it would be easy.
like, investigators were saying she had her clothes on, and they said, based off of, these are people that see this stuff all the time, and they're like, well, most of the time, like, if somebody's doing that to themselves as well, like, they're doing it somewhere that like they don't have clothes. Like they're not doing it like into their clothes because
Oh, right.
it's like
It's more
giving yourself a
difficult.
shot. Like it's
Yeah,
not, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like 20 times.
yeah,
No,
that's
but it took like the family they had to do like go through so much just to even get them to like unrule it as a
right.
um suicide instead of they were like even if you're not putting it as homicide at least put it as like unknown or something.
Yeah,
But
right, right.
what?
Yeah, because that doesn't make sense. Sounds like that
Yeah.
was, and not to pick on like investigators, but it sounds like that was the easier option.
Well,
Yeah, it
they
was
were,
just a
yeah, they were like,
suicide.
oh, well, there's no fingerprints on the like weapon used. It's into her like chest, let's just rule it as
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, like crazy. So did that one ever get solved?
No, they're still to this day, like years later, they're still trying to
Wow.
work on like even just getting like they still have nobody, they don't know who did it, like
Wow.
nothing.
That's
Not even
and there's
any
so
any
many of
real
those.
suspects.
There's so many of those because there's that other one. I mean, this isn't a murder. This is just like a missing person, but there's that
Yeah.
one again from Orlando, that Jennifer Kessie, which it's been like over 20 years since she
Hmm.
disappeared and like no trace. It's just like, how does that happen? That
I think
somebody
that's
just
so scary.
disappears and they're never seen again. It's just like it's wild. A lot of those,
Yeah.
I think, a lot of stories that I read at the time too talked about they thought it was maybe like human trafficking, that kind of thing,
Hmm.
which is even scarier. I mean, I guess it'd be good if the person's still alive, but that's still even scarier.
I just feel like even back then though, because that was obviously a while ago. I think
Hmm.
it's real wild though that yeah, you might not have had as many, doorbell cameras and people with homes with cameras on them and stuff, but
Right.
businesses have always had cameras and where her apartment
Yeah.
was, it was around a lot of different
Yeah.
businesses
They
and
had
stores.
I remember there was a camera that they showed with like a person of interest, right? That they
Mhm.
showed, but it's I mean, even the cameras today. I think the quality on them is so terrible because
Yeah.
90% of the time they get such a blurry image, and then they'll put that on and say, if you've seen this person, notify police, and it's like you can't even tell who they are, like
Yeah.
so they gotta
No, for
they gotta get
sure.
that quality better.
That's like that one there's
So,
that documentary on Netflix too of that missing girl who like went on the cruise ship. Did you see that
oh
one?
no, I
I
didn't.
can't remember what it's called, but it's a girl who literally I think back in the 90s, she went on a cruise with her parents and her brother and the last thing they knew, she was, outside on the balcony of the cruise ship, I don't know, smoking a cigarette or something, laying down, whatever. And when her dad woke up hours later, she was gone and they had no idea where she was. Like it was still a while until they even went to the port. And some people thought that maybe she fell off the balcony, but they said that they were so close to the port anyways that even if she fell off, like the current of the ocean would have brought her in eventually. She never got washed up. They think maybe somebody, she went and walked around the pool or the cruise deck and maybe someone snatched her or something, but yeah,
Yeah,
to this day they never found her. They had a few, traces of who where they think she might have been or something, but
yeah.
to this day they never found her. No, they don't know anything.
Yeah, it's amazing too, like how many things like that there are, like crimes that are just not solved. Like the one that I wanted to talk about was a lot.
Mhm.
It was a lot more like close to home, personal, because
Yeah.
when I was 10, I guess it was the day before um, Easter. Actually, it was Saturday before Easter, and there was a fire across the street from our house in the neighborhood we lived in, and it was a real tragedy because there were four like young kids that died in the fire. One of them was my best friend. Um, and that still hasn't. That was never solved. It was they determined it was an arson fire. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't anything like that. But they never charged anyone. I actually found a story online that I'll read. It says April 9th, 1977 will go down as one of the most tragic days in Lansdale's history. In the pre-dawn hours of that early spring morning, a fire tore through the house in the Wedgwood development, killing four children ages 2 to 9. The inferno was reported by a neighbor. Side note, that was actually your pop-up, my dad, that reported it because he knew people in the fire department. But by the time Fairmount firefighters arrived on the scene, the building was already a mass of flames. Chief J. Davler and his volunteers made a vibrant but unsuccessful effort to rescue the children who were trapped in the bedrooms on the upper floor in the five-level structure. Their parents managed to escape. An investigator revealed the cause of the fire was arson, but no one was ever charged. Now,
Crazy.
the parents escaped actually because the parents that night weren't home. They had both been out. And there was a babysitter at the house who was actually somebody that lived in the neighborhood too. It was somebody that I think your Aunt Joanne maybe was friends with. Um, and she had gone home when the dad got home. And the story that I remember from it anyway is he had laid down on the couch because he got back. It was like 11 o'clock at night, something like that, maybe. And um, he got back, laid on the couch and like dozed off for a minute. And the next thing he knew, like he smelled smoke and all that. And he got up. And like by the time he got up and like could do anything, it was like completely engulfed. I think he went to the neighbor next door's house to try to get help from him to get the kids out because these houses they were like townhouses, but they had they had 5 stories. And the bedrooms that were the kids' bedrooms were the top stories. We were in the exact same type of house, and we were the top 2 floors were or the top floor, I guess, were like the kids' bedrooms. Um, and so that's where all the kids were. So that's why
Living room
like
was at the
they
way
they
bottom.
did. Yeah, like you went in, you went into the living room, then there was like they called it the rec room, which was down like a half flight of stairs. It was like a half flight coming up the living room, then a half flight went up to the dining room and kitchen, then a half flight went up to the master bedroom, and then a half flight went up to the upper bedrooms.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so yeah, but they never solved it. There was a lot of speculation that was the dad was the one that did it,
Mhm.
which like we knew the family, we knew like we knew them. We actually had gone on like to the shore. We'd gone on like weekends to the shore with them and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it just that didn't seem possible to anybody that knew the family, but that
Yeah.
was. And it's one of those things where I wonder if they spent so much time speculating that he had done it and investigating into the fact that he had done it, that they didn't put enough effort into looking into who else may have done it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's one I would actually love to be able to get access to, like whatever evidence they had, and do a whole separate like
Like a
podcast
deep
on that. And
dive.
yeah, deep dive, talk to. I mean, the problem is it was, you know, a long time ago. It was like almost 50 years ago at this point. So, the people that would have been like the investigators and that kind of thing into that story are, a lot of them are no longer with us. A lot of them are. I think the father um, actually passed away. Uh,
Oh
I thought I
wow.
had read that somewhere recently. So yeah, that one. That one's the one that I always think of because I'm like, you know, it just seems like no justice for these four kids that that happened and they never held anybody, responsible for it.
That's such a sad, like a scary way to die, and so sad even thinking about how scared they must have been. Like there was a
Yeah,
2-year-old up there.
there was a
What?
2-year-old. Yeah, they hit. Yeah, the
That's so
friend that was
sad.
mine, his name was Jason actually. Um, he he was younger than me, so I was 10. He was maybe 8 or 9. I guess no,
Mhm.
his sister was 9. His oldest sister was 9, so he
So
must have
he
been
was
8.
probably 8.
Yeah, and then he had another younger sister, and then there was the baby who was 2. And the only thing that I always thought that was kind of comforting about it was that it was nighttime. They were sleeping. They were in their beds asleep. Hopefully, like like maybe the smoke or whatever, they never woke up from it. That's the only thing that
I
ever
have heard
kind of
that
gave me
before, like
comfort.
even
That
yeah, the heat
yeah,
sometimes makes you like pass out alone or just become
yeah,
unconscious alone, like
yeah, so that they didn't even experience any pain. That's the
so
hope anyway.
sad.
But yeah, yeah, and it was really at the time it was just horrible. I remember as a kid, because we were up all night, obviously. Like this was the middle of the night. Like literally your Uncle Jimmy was downstairs. I think he was watching TV,
Mhm.
and I was up in bed, and he started yelling fire, fire, because he was watching TV, which our TV was facing away from the window that would have faced the house, but he just saw the orange glow on the wall, kind of,
Oh my
and
gosh.
saw that something was on fire. And yeah, so we were up all night. And I remember, after, like we didn't know what was going on, but we had been up all night. Um, we were all kind of exhausted. I remember going and I slept in my mom and dad's bed, and I think my dad went to bed too. And I woke up, and on the radio that was next to the bed, just as I woke up, I heard the story saying on the news saying that the 4 kids had died. And it was like,
Oh.
because at that point we were still like, we were hoping that they had gotten out somehow, maybe. You don't
Oh
know, and you
yeah.
always hope for the best. But
Yeah.
yeah, that one, that one's really like that one. I really would love to see somebody solve. And it's funny because as we were prepping for this, I was like, and I've read stories about this a couple times. I
Mhm.
actually came across something on Facebook. Now this is from 3 years ago, but it's somebody who on Facebook was looking for information on it, and I kind of I wondered, you know, is this somebody looking to do the same kind of thing, like more or less deep dive into it? So maybe that's something I'll do. I'll get in touch with you know, whatever the county resources would have been that would have information on it, and see what I can come up with, and do something on it, because I would love to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. That's crazy. I think it's crazy that people even get away with like doing crimes, but
Right. Well, they don't. The way I like to look at it, they don't, because even if you're not brought to justice here, you're brought to justice in the next life. So
you know what I think is really crazy when like I think it's crazy when somebody will do a crime like way back in the day or whatever. Like someone commits a crime in the I don't know 80s, 90s, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And then, technology nowadays has just advanced so much even in terms of the DNA technology,
Oh yeah.
and it'll be like 80-year-old man that committed this crime in 1989 caught, and it's like,
Yep.
oh, you know
Yep.
what?
Yeah. It's amazing how
How about that?
they're able to like tie, DNA now to crimes in the past, and
Mhm.
yeah.
And
I
solve
think it's
cases like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when they solve cases. They'll solve cases like after the person died too, even. They'll they'll
Mhm.
they'll have the DNA on file, and they'll do a match, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was also the person we were looking for this crime too." Which
But it's because they still have like those cold case folders that they
right.
really have like a separate team that will like sift through every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's they should start using AI for this stuff. I wonder I no,
There you go.
not to get way off topic and get on our usual topic of AI, but I wonder what AI could do in identifying like suspects in cases like that. You know, like in a case like the one I'm
Yeah.
talking about, if there was a similar thing that happened, 2 counties away around that same era,
Hmm.
and and other ones that happened around that, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing, or whatever it might be, not just that, but
Hmm.
whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so did you ever notice any like paranormal stuff with it? Like with
Not with
like
that.
after it
No,
like
not with
burned
that.
down?
Not with that. The only thing that I experienced was the typical thing. I think this is a normal human thing of having dreams after the fact
I've
that
never had that happen.
are like it didn't actually happen. They're
What do you
still
mean?
here, kind of thing. Is in other words, having dreams as if they were still here. I've had that same thing like with your pop-up since he passed. I've had dreams
Like
of
y'all hanging out or just
yeah,
like
like he's just still here, like he wasn't, like he never. Just dreams. I'm not talking during the day. I don't hallucinate during the day, but at night. I have, however,
mm,
had one what I would call kind of a paranormal experience. Um, when I was younger, we had gone to a friend's house, and there was like a snowstorm. It was a bad snowstorm, and I didn't want to drive home, so I was just staying at their house and slept on the couch. And middle of the night, I swear that I saw an old man walk into the house with like groceries. There was no old man that lived in the house. But as a matter of fact, the people who lived in the house weren't home. We were just, at their house, and they weren't home. And came to find out later that the person whose I think it was somebody's grandmother had owned the house, and the grandfather died while they were living there. So I don't know. Was it the ghost?
what?
Was it his ghost? And it wasn't like a dream. Let me just say it wasn't like a dream. It was like I was laying there and I didn't move. I'm just laying there still because there's this person coming in the door, and it was like,
You
and
like
then
heard
and
the
then when I
door
looked
creak
again, they were
open or
gone.
something?
I don't remember if I heard the door move,
Or it was
but
just like
it
out
was
of your
like you,
peripheral?
yeah, kind of, well, not exactly out of my peripheral. Like I heard something that made me look, and that's when I saw the person like walking and carrying grocery bags. And then I was like, it kind of did a double take, and when I looked again, there was no one there, and I was like, that was weird.
What?
Then I went to sleep. I went back to sleep. Yeah, that
The
was
way I
that
would
was.
not have been able to go to sleep.
See, I don't know.
You're
I don't
like,
know.
huh. Anyways.
Yeah, that was weird. Anyways, I'm really tired.
What?
Yeah, no, that was my one and only, I think. I don't think I've had another experience like that.
I don't think I've ever had that. And I don't really have like people that have passed show up in my dreams like that either. Maybe no one
Yeah,
visits me. I don't know.
wow, that's a shame. I also say because your pop-up was a smoker, and
Oh
I
yeah.
also say occasionally I'll smell the smell of like smoke, like cigarette smoke, and
Yeah.
I'll say that he's visiting during those times. I've also had experiences where like because he was a very mechanical person. He could we always said he could fix anything.
Yeah.
And I learned some things from him, I'll say, but definitely didn't learn everything from him. And
Yeah.
there have been times where I had a problem with something that I couldn't figure out, something with the house or something with a car or whatever. And out of nowhere, the solution would come to me, and I always say that's him whispering it in my ear, like saying, "Look at
Wow.
this. Take a look at this." Because it's just times where like there's no reason that I should have thought to do that or to look at that, and something made me do it. So yeah, I believe it.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I don't really have too many situations like that that I can think of. Do you
Maybe they're
believe though
happening and you're just not listening for them. You got to be, you know,
I have to be
you got
more
to
in
be
tune?
you have to be open to the possibility.
That's yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true. I've had moments where like I'll think of like a solution to something. I'll have that similar thing and I'll be like, oh, she's an engineer.
So you're just
Maybe
putting it
it's
all on yourself and you're not realizing it's someone else
not me at all.
giving you the answer.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, do you believe in like there's this lady I've seen on TikTok and she talks about um like people who have died. Adrian makes fun of me every time he sees me watching her. But she's basically like she does peeks, like peeks into people who have passed away. And
Mhm.
she'll be like, I just did a peek on this person and they were doing this. They like it's basically her seeing them in the afterlife. She calls it like before they like fully cross over.
Okay.
Um and yeah, she'll like sometimes have conversations with them and she'll talk about, what they said or and it's things she'll be like, "Oh yeah, like with Liam Payne when he died." And she's like, "He was standing next to somebody wearing like a white smoker's jacket. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I couldn't really see his face. I just saw his back." And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so and so used to wear smoker jackets all the time and he hung out with him." And it's like an older lady that you wouldn't expect to know anything about Liam
Yeah.
Payne. Do you believe in that stuff? Do you think that stuff
Right.
is
Of
legit or do you
course.
think those people are like phony?
I don't know. There. Who was the one? There was a guy that used to be on. I can't remember his name, and I'm now wondering what happened to him. He used to have like a TV show on where he would do that. Uh, I think the show was called Crossing Over.
Oh yeah.
And he used to do that kind of thing.
Like
And it
mediums.
seemed, yeah, it seemed very legit. And then there's the Long Island medium one.
Yeah.
And, that also seemed very legit. There's a lot of people that say that it's all, smoke and mirrors, for lack of a better way of putting it, that it's all just kind of, trickery. Um, but I don't know. I mean, if the thing is to me, if you believe that there's something after this world,
Mhm.
and you believe that it's possible to have a connection to that, maybe some people are more sensitive to it, like I said, about the experiences that I've had, right? you know that tends to make me more open to the idea that maybe there are certain people that just have a that because there's also cases where people have been through something like traumatic and after that have been able to sense those kind of things, like, near death experience type things, where
Oh
where
yeah.
after that they've been able to sense that kind of stuff. And that makes a lot of sense, I guess, if you kind of had one foot, one foot in that door, that maybe
Mhm.
you're more connected to it. I don't know. It is fascinating because when you watch those shows, like, you completely think, wow, like, how did they know that, this person is the one they were wanting to hear from and all that kind of thing?
Mhm. Yeah, like there was this one girl. Oh, it's that girl who she lost her dad to a drunk driver. She's that YouTuber.
Right.
And um she said that like where they got in that car accident, it was literally like less than a minute down the street from when they left her house. They left her house, 30 seconds or so down the street is when the accident happened. And she said that at the time of when they say the accident was, that exact time, like when the accident would have happened, her microwave literally just started beeping 555 on it. And then after that, I think it was 555, like some number. It just randomly, your microwave never just starts beeping.
Yeah.
Her microwave starts beeping with like all the same number on it. And then even after that, like it would just randomly beep with those numbers on it.
Wow. Did that? I thought you were going to tell me that, like, that number had some meaning for her dad or something like that.
No, she's just saying like it's never done that before and then what are the
Right.
chances that like, she it's not like she just moved into that house, like it's never done that before and then at the exact time that the accident happens, her microwave does that and then it just
Yeah.
does it like constantly after that.
Right. Right.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's interesting stuff. I think I always like to think of it as that, like, I'm a smart enough person to not assume that I know everything about everything. So
Mhm.
I don't know. You know, it could be that. It could be, could be just random, but it could be, more than that because, we don't know everything about everything.
Yeah. And I mean, I know a lot of people say like things like that happens after someone dies or, lights flickering and stuff. And I
Oh,
guess,
yeah.
that part makes sense. Like, yeah, we're just energy. We are just
Yeah,
energy. So much
that's right.
energy that yeah, when that stuff happens, I guess we are just able to like flicker lights and like mess with you. But
Yeah.
um
Yeah,
yeah.
I plan on doing that when I go. I will like I'll be the check engine light flashing in your car. That'll be me.
Gosh, please.
Just to give everyone stress, I'll be your check engine light flashing. Now,
Yeah.
maybe just tire pressure. I'll just be the tire pressure. That one's easier to deal with. That check engine light will that'll give you stress. Nobody looking
The
to do
oil
that.
change, the oil change light.
Oil change light, right?
That's the one that was,
You know what
bugging
I always
us.
and why I'm glad I have a Tesla. You know what I like about not having to deal with the oil change light anymore? I
Hmm.
always would forget because I did our own oil changes. I didn't take it places to, and I would always forget like there was some magical secret sequence you had to do to reset the oil change light so it knew that you
Oh,
changed the oil. It was like
yeah.
turn the key to accessory and then hold down the odometer button for 30 seconds and then let go of the odometer button and tap the brake pedal 4 times. It's like I'm
And
not
then
trying to
clap
find
your
the secret
hands
level on
together.
Mario. I just want to reset the oil light. Like, what is all this?
Right, that's the same cheat code I used to do on The Sims to get unlimited money.
Yeah. So, yeah, yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic. And I think it's funny because like the two topics together are they're kind of not related, but they kind of are too, because um, you know, you like it's interesting to me, or you would think that in if that kind of thing is true, this is
Yeah.
going the other way with it, right? That in murder cases, especially, there would be more circumstances of that because, like, I know if it was me and I had the ability to communicate with people back here after something like that happened, I'd be like, he did it, that guy. This is the guy that did it, or just torment that person, until they confess.
Yeah, because you can't really use that as a form of that, that's a whole other separate topic. Even man, those interrogation videos, like those are all Adrian watches a lot of like
Oh,
interrogation videos, and I think like we were talking about it the other day, the skill that it even takes to be somebody like interrogating somebody else, because they always like try to be your friend first,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, you want anything to eat? Like, we'll go get you a
Yeah,
McDonald's milkshake. Like, what do you,
yeah,
why don't we just have a chat? Like, if you watch some of them are very, very skilled and good at
yeah,
what they do.
yeah,
Like, you can't go in there. Really, I think I would be a pretty good interrogator, maybe. But you can't go in there like yelling at them because obviously that's going to make them, I don't know, that would make me confess less.
yeah, 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 yeah. But it
But if,
might. I think it also has to do with the person's personality, and they probably have
yeah,
to be able to read their personality well. Of okay, is this somebody
yeah,
that like, do they seem nervous right now? Because if they seem nervous right now, then give them the hard push might might be the way to go, but then maybe not. Maybe the way to go is to be nice because you get them, if they're uncomfortable right now,
comfortable
you might get them relaxed where they'll make a mistake or, admit something or whatever.
instead
Where
of
if
just
they're
like shut down.
yeah, where if they're being like, combative and that kind of thing, yeah, then being combative yourself might not work.
Even like the
But
trick questions, like, yes,
yeah.
but when you killed them, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I
No, we're
wasn't
not.
wearing that. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't kill them at all.
Yeah. The murderer was wearing a red shirt, and you're wearing a red shirt right now. I wasn't wearing this shirt when it happened.
Yeah, because I wasn't there at all. So I,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Anyways, yeah,
that's the kind of stuff I'd try to pull. Like, if,
yeah,
you had no idea what the murderer was wearing, but be like, well, we know the murderer was wearing a red shirt, just like that one you have on, and see if they go,
yeah.
I didn't wear this shirt that day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
Like, it's all
couldn't have
trickery.
been me. I didn't have that shirt on.
Couldn't have been me. I just got this shirt today. I was wearing a blue shirt the other day.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny because they were actually wearing a blue shirt.
Anyways,
Yeah.
guys.
Here's that was our completely unskilled take on true crime
Yeah.
and the what's the other word? The occult, right? Is that the word?
I don't know what word that is. You said the
Paranormal.
cult?
No,
Oh,
occult.
yeah.
Occult. But
A cult?
paranormal maybe is a better
C-U-L-T?
word.
Oh.
I I think it's ACULT.
Oh,
Cult.
I don't know that word.
A
Yeah.
cult is
Paranormal.
like, yeah, paranormal.
Paranormal.
Paranormal activities, right?
Paranormal. Cold cases and
Yeah.
murders.
Cold case. There's the title. All right.
You're welcome.
There we go. Let's put a stamp on it. All right, check us out for something much more fun than this topic on Thursday for game time.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.